What is good, everybody? It's Infection here, and I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day. I'm having an absolute blast on Arc Raiders. This game is a breath of fresh air as far as games go these days. Yeah, I'm having an absolute blast. But I figured I'd take a break from the gameplay here and make a quick video and share my thoughts on what might be some of the better settings in the game, especially for us console folks and controller players. I don't know that there's a lot of content out there for us on this game yet, so I figured I'd just make this video real quick, going over the settings. There's not a whole lot to it. The settings looks like they just have a very bare bones settings right now in the game, which is whatever. But I don't want to waste any more time. Let's just get right into this video. Alright, so first thing, when you're sitting here on the main hub, wherever you're at, just press the start button on your controller, and then over here you'll see the gear icon to the left. Go ahead and just press A on that, and that'll pull up your settings. So we're just going to go right down the list, and I'm just going to briefly explain what they do and whether or not how you should have the settings set up on here. So show reload progress, I would definitely have this on. Show damage direction, I would definitely have this on. I'm a big believer in games like this, the more information you have, the better. So those two definitely help a lot. Crossplay, you can turn this off. As long as you're on the main menu here, you can turn crossplay off, and you can also set your server to where you want your servers to be. Automatic is always the best because it's going to default to the lowest ping. Crossplay is completely your preference. If you don't want to play with PC kids, I would just go ahead and turn that off. Alright, hitting the right bumper, I'm going over to the graphics. So the game is preset, I believe, on 60 field of view. I would definitely crank this up. I would set it to the max, which is 80 right now. Motion blur, always disable this on games that you play. Motion blur, what it does is when you're moving, is it makes the screen behind you essentially get blurry. So I would 100% take motion blur and disable that. Idle energy saving, I just disabled this. Essentially what it says is it limits frame rate and resolution to save energy when idling in the main menu. I don't see anything wrong with that, but I don't know if maybe it might be impacting the game when you're in it, so I just disabled it for now. Alright, so for audio, this is all complete preference for you guys, obviously. Don't have to use mine. This is just set to 35% right now because honestly, the game was literally blowing my eardrums out with these headphones on, so I had to crank that thing down because their sound quality in this game is A1, but I'll tell you what, they have it cranked up. Effects volume 100%. Music volume, you can just turn that off if you don't want to listen to music at all. If you only want to, or if you don't want to have music when you're in game, then just hit this music during gameplay and turn that off. So that's what I just have it set to right now. I am kind of a fan of like listening to games, sound scores and music and things like that. So I do have my music volume while I'm just sitting here chilling, but for when you're in the game, just turn it off. Dialogue volume 100%. Output mode, just make sure that this is on whatever you're using. So I have my headphones in, so I have it to set to stereo headphones. Night mode, I have no clue what this really does, to be honest. I don't see any sort of change, so I'm imagining it just kind of brightens or maybe lessens the brightness of the screen. Anything down here pretty much is complete preference. This is push to talk. If you want to have an open microphone all the time, like if you're not in a party, people will always be able to hear you, so I would recommend not running this. I would do push to talk if you want to talk to people in game. And if you just want it disabled, you can just turn it off right here, and this will disable all the proximity chat, so no game chat will be available. Alright, going over here to accessibility. I didn't do anything with these first two. That's default. That's font size big. Now, when you get down here, I had an issue where I died because this setting tweaked me out. So essentially, when you're peeking cover, or like you have railings right in front of you, for example, and you're crouching down and you're like aiming through the railings, what this move crosshair when path is blocked does is your crosshair will just like start to float away from whatever structure you're looking at. And I hated this setting because it's so hard to tell where your bullets are going to go when your crosshair's floating off to the side, the left, the right, up, down. I hated it. So I came in here and I did see that there was a setting to turn this off. So default, it's on. So I would turn this off, and then I would also down here in override crosshair shape. If you've noticed when you're playing, when you're using like an SMG, an assault rifle, a sniper, there's different crosshairs. If you want your crosshair to always be the same no matter what gun you're using, you do on. And then you come over here, and you can see on the right side of my screen, you can choose what crosshair you want. So, like, obviously, this is the SMG one. This is your assault rifle one. The circle is for the shotguns, and so on and so forth. So if you like one of these crosshairs over the other and you always want it to be that crosshair, you can do that right here. I just prefer the standard crosshair, and I'll be honest, I've been quite enjoying seeing the different crosshairs when I'm using the different weapons. So mine is off, but this is obviously complete preference. If you want a dot in the middle of your crosshair, you can just turn that on right here. And then down here, you have all these settings that affect your crosshair. So you got obviously crosshair length, if you want longer lines or shorter. The thickness of those lines, if they want them to stand out a little bit more. Crosshair thickness here. You guys can see, obviously, as I'm changing these, how it affects on the right. Crosshair opacity, this is how easy it's going to see. So if you turn the opacity way down, it's not going to be very prevalent, but if you turn it way up, you're going to be able to see your crosshair. It like thickens it. And then down here you have your colors. So I turned my red all the way down, and that's kind of how I got this like bright teal color looking crosshair. Obviously, if you start changing the other things, so if you turn red and green all the way down, it's going to be a blue crosshair. If you turn green and blue all the way down, you're going to have a red crosshair, and so on and so forth. So you can mess around with those colors, get your color exactly how you like it. I just like something bright that stands out so my eyes can just snap right to my crosshair. I did see you can put an outline on the crosshair. I haven't messed around with this yet. I just like the crosshair how it is. I feel like if you get too busy with your crosshair and you make it too much, it can be a bit distracting. So I just like to keep it simple, keep it straightforward. All right, and that's pretty much it for the accessibility side of things. Then when you come over here to your gamepad, so you have aim assist, you can turn that off and on. You can have in vertical look input, so you have your sensitivities here. I've been messing around with these a little bit. 120 feels pretty decent, kind of snappy. You can flip around and whatnot, but it's not so fast that you're going all over the place. Zoom sensitivity multiplier, I found 40% feels good. I think the default is 20%, and it felt a bit slow to me. I noticed like when you would hit left trigger to zoom in on your guns, it would be so slow. So if you're like really close to somebody and they're running back and forth, your tracking them is late. Like you're not actually staying on your target. So I turned mine up to 40, and I found that to be a lot better. Same with the scope zoom sensitivity multiplier. Look response curve, you can keep this wherever you want. I really prefer linear. Linear is very sensitive. It's very smooth and fluent once you get the hang of it. But if you're not used to playing on it, I would suggest either not doing it, or if you want to get adventurous and start learning how to play on it, by all means, put it on there. Keep your dead zones as low as possible without stick drift happening. I turn my look boost down. I like everything to feel exactly how it should right when I do it. I don't like there to be a boost to where it like gradually increases my sensitivity or my movement. I like everything to just be 100% all the time exactly when I do it. So, like I said, these are all going to be set to different defaults. If you want to mess around with it and do kind of what I did, I turned all of them to 0. Now it's going to feel much different than when they're actually on. So just keep that in mind. It's going to take some practicing to get used to it. And then that's pretty much it. Like I said, there's not a whole lot going on with the settings right now in the game. Obviously, this is just a tech test right now, so it makes sense that they don't have all the settings in here. I'm sure this will be expanded upon when the full game releases. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to go through, take a look at the settings with everybody, and kind of give you an idea of what might be some better settings if you wanted to know what that might be. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, as always, do be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, as I would love to hear from all of you. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next video.